Totem rabbit. Subject: lack of clean drinking water. In 2010, the United Nations General Assembly established that safe drinking water is a basic human right subject to binding international law. They also established a special rapporteur position in order to monitor international progress towards full compliance with the standard. These actions underscore the importance of clean water to the health and well-being of our communities. And yet, according to the Council of Canadians, here in Canada, there are typically in excess of 100 drinking water advisories among our country's First Nations. For good reason, then the Truth and Reconciliation Commission called upon the federal, provincial, territorial, and Aboriginal governments to recognize and implement the health care rights of Aboriginal people as identified in international law, constitutional law, and under the treaties. This demands further requires acknowledgement that the current state of Aboriginal health in Canada is a direct result of previous Canadian government policies. In Ojibwe kinship structure, the rabbit totem is part of the Bimaawidaasi group, in which has responsibility for scouting, hunting, and gathering. The rabbit is likely the most anthropomorphized creature on Earth, as commonly portrayed in literature, mythology, theater, and cinema. As such, it stands in close relationship to human sensitivities and concerns, and is a strong symbol for the need to develop and implement long-term solutions in improving community living standards. This painting right here positions the rabbit and family in direct proximity to unsafe water. Bound within the well of a chain of life, the highlights and fragility of our communities when proper infrastructure has been tended to, and the need for strategically sound leadership to address and resolve the resource problems. The treaties were to last as long as the sun shines and the rivers flow. These are symbols of life, as is the fertile rabbit. The systemic failure to provide safe drinking water on reserve has turned the source of life into a death-dealing substance. The rabbit tribe offers hope to improve living conditions on reserve. Hunted. Dodo muskrat. Subject: loss of hunting rights. A key provision of the numbered treaties between Crown and Indigenous leaders has been the retention of hunting, trapping, and fishing rights on reserve lands. Increasingly, these rights have been threatened or diminished as courts seek to find clarity on how to regulate them. Individuals seeking to exercise such rights has been apprehended and charged with poaching. There has been a proliferation of claims and counterclaims, and First Nation rights have been particularly threatened by resource development interests. If such matters are to be sorted out in the courts, then it becomes critically important for all parties to be fully cognizant of treaty rights and obligations. As demanded by the Trust and Reconciliation Commission, Call to Action 28, we call upon law schools in Canada to require all law students to take a course in Aboriginal people and the law, which includes treaties and Aboriginal rights, Indigenous law, and Aboriginal Crown relations. This will require skills-based training in intercultural competency, conflict resolution, human rights, and anti-racism. In Ojibwe kinship structure, the muskrat totem is part of the Bimaawidaasi group, which has responsibility for scouting, hunting, and gathering. As a species whose behavior is important for maintaining the ecological balance, the muskrat is an important symbol for not abusing hunting, trapping, and fishing rights. At the same time, it is the muskrat that showed the determination and endurance to establish landed territory to indigenous creation accounts. Even as indigenous people cope with threats to their hunting, trapping, and fishing rights, they are preyed upon by the dominant society. The muskrat, which is in the wild, is also a target to prevent overpopulation, is a tireless fighter for territorial rights, and therefore an apt symbol for the struggle to retain traditional rights. This painting depicts the central role of the muskrat in upholding both ecological balance and the rights to traditional lifestyle embodied in the treaties and the Canadian Constitution.